Hey everyone, it is tea time with the diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're gonna get into it. This tea time is dedicated to Diddy, because honey, it looks like Diddy is gonna bring us all the way into the new year. Unfortunately, I really think by the time this is all said and done, he's probably gonna have thousands. Talking about 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Don't forget about that. He's gonna have thousands of civil lawsuits against him. Now, did y'all see this on News Nation? There is an attorney. Her name is Ariel Mitchell Kidd. She is one of the attorneys for one of the accusers, and she's saying that all of, well, not all of, that some of the FO tapes are currently being shopped around Hollywood, and someone contacted her. She's an attorney. Someone contacted her because the person in the video was more high profile. This is according to this attorney than Diddy. It does. She said it appears like this particular person does not know that they are being videotaped, and she said that the person contacted her to see if she would help sell this video. Listen, y'all got to help me out. We're going to listen together, and y'all got to tell me if I'm off with what I'm hearing. To sell this video back to the high profile person that's in it before it gets circulated. But I'm like, you're an attorney, and that's a crime for someone to call you and ask you about that. When you have to report said person to the authorities, listen, maybe I'm tripping here. Let me share a screen, and we got to help each other out. Or maybe y'all get it and y'all just got to help me out. Let's take a listen.
Contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but yes. The shopping thing is.
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before. So like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow. Can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I can't explain who the person was, but
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
Oh my. All right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of
Someone called to get a lawyer to represent them for the sale of a S tape, and that's legal, but they're prosecuting Diddy about these FOs and these S tapes and all of the sneakery and the foolery, and she didn't have to, and she was given still pictures of said person in the video, and she could tell it was P in nature. And am I wrong? Isn't P illegal? And she didn't report said person that called on the phone to authorities. Maybe I'm tripping here. Maybe I just don't know the law. Let's continue to listen.
Activities at his home, Diddy. And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes. This was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video. So it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I wanted.
So just to record somebody on the phone, some states do have a one-party consent, meaning that if I know I'm recording you, I don't need your permission to record you. I'm talking about phone calls right now. I'm not talking about sneaking, recording anybody on a video. and I know I'm recording you in that particular state, it's okay. But there's other states where it has to be both party has to know. And that's why sometimes you get these telemarketer calls or other calls, and they tell you that this call is probably being recorded for what do you call it? What do you call it? Training purposes or something of that sort. And so everybody has to know that it is being recorded. So I'm bringing that up to say this: if you know for a fact that you saw a tape where somebody looks like in that tape that they didn't know they was being recorded, isn't that in and of itself a crime? Outside of the fact that this may be a tape that is involving me with no clothes on and doing things like, I'm not understanding how this particular lawyer here didn't have to report this phone call. I don't get it. I'm lost right now. But let's continue to listen.
To ask you about the police report we talked about, but when your client came out, obviously the neighbor knew. Did she talk to her family? Did she talk to her friends? Did she have another lawyer? Let's go back to your client.
So at the time, as most rape victims are, they feel a lot of shame.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to vocalize what happened to them because then it makes it real. So they kind of internalize it and get over it. Mm-hmm. And due to the high profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the...
Let me pause this for a minute. We often talked about, well, I know at least on my channel, how much did these kids see? Diddy's kids growing up. And this particular picture right here, I'm feeling like I'm almost positive that that is a young Christian King Combs in that picture there at a white party. There's another video out there where he says, like, he's making a speech and he said, okay, the kids got to go now because, you know, I guess the party was going to turn a little different. But imagine he's young here. I'm thinking this may be the 7, 8, 9 range. And he was at this party. And even to me, when the party is not yet turned into the after party, I'm sure people was turned up and a lot was going on. But I just wanted to point that out for that particular picture right there. Let's continue to listen.
Height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. Mm-hmm. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's going to believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
Sure, sure. I mean, but there's a police report.
Yeah.
I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, you know, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes. As soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint that was made. I'll attach the number so everyone can see that this is a real number and can go to the police department there and request their own copy of that police report that was made back in 2018.
Well, that's going to be a huge deal when it happens, obviously. So we want to follow up on that. Did Mr. Combs have any reaction? Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room, is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Right. Well, your client should be proud of herself for filing that claim and making that call and going for help. Because that's a huge deal. And of course, these are allegations. We want to say that. What was it like for you when you got this phone call, when you realized what you were going to be stepping into?
after talking to her, I just wanted to protect her. I just wanted to help her. She seemed as somebody very broken by this experience. And it was very concerning for me to hear her saying these things and expressing this very deep trauma associated with what happened to her. I just wanted to make sure that, number one, she was heard and we can get her voice to the masses, and maybe Mr. Combs will actually, like right now we're starting to see, will actually face some type of consequences for what he's done.
Thanks for watching.
It's a lot to dissect there. I believe with her client did not file the suit yet. She's about to file it. And the difference with her that I haven't seen with many, this particular young lady actually did go file a police report. And but when I was listening, I listened a couple of times, but it was so much to break down in there, so many clues in there, so many questions I had with this particular interview. But I believe the young lady didn't say the name of the person that violated her. So yes, there will be a police report, but to my understanding, she never said a name in that police report. But at least she does have a police report that at this particular time, she did report a crime happened. So this is going to be interesting. I believe that unfortunately, Diddy's kids probably saw a lot from darn near birth to their current age now. I still pray for them because we are all a product of our environment. And there's a lot of kids that unfortunately they may grow up with addicted parents. And if they're not saved from that environment, they can become addicted themselves. We saw that with Whitney Houston and her daughter, Bobby Christina. And unfortunately, they both had a very sad demise. So now we're seeing, well, we're not seeing, we don't know, well, maybe seeing a little bit, because unfortunately, Christian King Combs, who I believe is the kid in that picture, one of the white parties, and Justin Combs, are also facing some lawsuits or have been named in the Diddy lawsuits. So, but what's ironic and which was baffling me here in this particular interview with this particular lawyer is, and y'all got to chat with me in the comments, I'm confused at how a criminal can call you, in my mind, and say, can you represent me as I try to sell a tape? Because that's like blackmail. Can you represent me while I blackmail somebody? I'm going to blackmail Diva because I got to tape a Diva and Diddy. And before it goes out and the rest of the world sees it, see if Diva wants to buy it from me. And even so, like, how would I be sure that that's the only tape and you didn't make copies and you're going to sell it to me for millions and then it's still going to circulate out there anyway? This is a mess, but I had to show this to you in case y'all didn't see it, and y'all got to let me know your thoughts. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Diddy is going to end up having 1,000+ lawsuits against him, because I believe this is not the only young lady that this particular lawyer is going to represent. Then you got somebody from Texas saying they got 50 people. It's a lot, but at least her client seems to have a police report. Chat with me, guys. Hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next video.